I attribute a lot of going from becoming a high schooler to a young man with what I went through at Charlotte. Taught me how to think, taught me to have self-confidence, be self-reliant. It really made a big jump for me in maturity and what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. My fondest memory is going to be in the School of Architecture, just because that seemed to be where we spent a lot of time. I think I quickly realized what all-nighters meant pretty early, and just being alone in that building literally all night with a group of folks working on the same project, it's just hard to replicate something like that. How I became interested in architecture, good question. I was very interested in it from a young age. I couldn't even spell architecture, much less pronounce it. And I think my parents were sort of intrigued at this interest in drawing and the built environment. So they just sort of let me run with it, but it was something I was passionate about, so I kept pursuing it. I can't think of anything better than building and being able to point to something, being able to drive by it, know that you had something to do with it.
I think to really know who David is, you'd have to know how passionate he is about the design. I mean, developers get a bad shtick and they'll say, oh, well, they're just trying to squeeze the last dollar out of a project. I'm telling you, David's projects are design driven. He could tell you today the width of a hallway in any project somebody's working on. But that level of detail is what drives the man.
I think being able to start a company and employ 400 people, I really do thank the people that come to work every day, knowing that I'm working with those people and they're supporting their family and we're doing things that we like to do. I really look at that as something that I'm most proud of. I think people can get lost in titles and money and fame and fortune when really at the end of the day, I think you want to do something you like to do with the people you like to do it with. And I'm most proud that I get to do that every day.
This isn't something you'd find on any marketing material, but David has a motto that leaders eat last. And what that means is that all team members are valued. And so the last thing you want to do as a leader is push your way to the front of the line. When we're gathered together to share ideas or to be with one another, we make sure that the other team members are at the front of the line.
I didn't realize that giving back to the School of Architecture at Charlotte was going to be as meaningful as it's been. I hope we can see more of that. I hope by me doing that, others will begin to give back, because our alumni base is big, it's always growing, and I do think giving back in some way is really important to continue the legacy going forward.
The gift, as far as I know, is relatively unencumbered by constraints, and it therefore permits the school to leverage that flexibility in its programming, in its personnel, and its support of students in a variety of ways. And to that extent, it's probably one of the most important gifts the school has ever received.
Probably the most important thing to me is that I really want people to be talking about the things that I did that weren't necessarily in the public's eye, that there was a piece of me that did the right thing even when people wouldn't see it or appreciate it.
People label developers and put them in a category, and David stands out of that category. And so I think in that sense, he's an excellent representation of the School of Architecture and UNC Charlotte in this community.
He has never forgotten where he started. And that passion grew out of those architecture studios and those late night sessions. And I'm telling you, he is still building with that passion today.
Receiving the Distinguished Alumni Award, it's humbling. These kind of recognitions on one hand, I'm very proud of. On the other hand, it's a little embarrassing to have to be in the spotlight, but it's an incredible honor. And I'm always really impressed with the fellow award winners. I always like seeing what they've done. So it was a great honor.